Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be another jam-packed daily cryptocurrency market update. As always, if you are new to this channel and finding yourself on my videos for the first time today, don't forget to check out that subscribe button because we drop an update just like this one around 1 p.m. UK time every single day to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. In yesterday's update, we looked at the Global Liquidity Index, which very much supports our opinion on what Bitcoin and the broader crypto space is going to do. And it's important that we have that macro context, which is going to allow the technical patterns that we're identifying in the cryptocurrency space to play out. Remember, we have a target for Bitcoin of $151,000. And I believe we are yet to see any real kind of alt season. Now, I do have altcoins that are 500% up, lots of 200, 300 percenters. But the real bulk of this market and the real kind of rolling of Bitcoin dominance, ETH BTC playing out, others dominance playing out is still to come. We're going to be talking about that a little bit in this video. What I want to do, though, we've got a number of clips. We've got quite a few clips, actually, to share with you. The first one is going to be of Gary Gensler when he worked at MIT, talking about Ethereum and the broader cryptocurrency space, and actually stating that they are classed by the SEC as commodities. Kind of a 180 from his current stance. Now, there's been lots of news. First of all, we had the kind of Prometheum, which happens to be the only special purpose broker-dealer licensed crypto exchange, although they currently offer no products other than Bitcoin, and they actually changed or looked. There was a recent change made by the exchange where they kind of hinted at Ethereum being a security. They're kind of in cahoots with the SEC. The SEC is using them to basically say, look, well, we've regulated one company, so what Coinbase and all these others are saying is nonsense. Well, we know the opposite is true. What Gary Gensler is saying is nonsense. That's going to lead me perfectly on to the next clip that I have for you, which is essentially what happened recently. You know, the SEC was charged with a misconduct in regards to, I think it was Debtbox or something like that, and kind of overstepping the mark and doing things in not a very well done manner. And they're actually sued or fined as a result of this. Of course, the taxpayer picks that bill up. We're going to be diving into a clip of one of the congressmen, Mr. Hill, actually talking about this and the broader gross misconduct that we see for the crypto space or the digital asset space at large. Remember, BlackRock have now launched their tokenized fund, BIDL. And this is a sign, I think, of what's to come. BlackRock wouldn't be looking to utilize Ethereum and filing for Ethereum ETFs if they thought it was going to go the opposite way. And we have technical reasons to expect an Ethereum ETF to happen. We're looking at ETH BTC and, of course, ETH dominance, which we'll be bringing up. We'll also talk about the Bitcoin chart, what it's currently doing. It's just doing what you should expect at all-time highs. It's doing very much similar to what it did in the last all-time high that was set in 2017, what it did in 2021. This is going to be a spectacular year. I really do believe that. All the stars are aligning. And to kind of finish things off, I'm then going to be playing a clip from Jerome Powell when he was asked about CBDCs. And it's not necessarily what he said about CBDCs that interests me, more what he said about digital finance. And what he's talking about there is crypto. So we've got a lot to get into. Let's get into it all. And let's start things off with a clip of Gary Gensler sharing his views when he taught about blockchain at MIT. No coincidences here, guys. He taught at one of the most prestigious universities in the world when it comes to technology, a blockchain course. And then they happened to award him the chair of the SEC. Interesting. Bullish, I think, actually, also. But let's dive into this clip of Gary Gensler talking about these cryptos and how he viewed them back then.
Probably 3/4 of this space has already been determined by the Securities and Exchange Commission not to be a security. Bitcoin's 54%. Ether's about, 15 points or something like that. So you're all of a sudden up to about 70 points, and then there's a bunch of other things that add up.
Very, very interesting. Let's dive over to a clip of Congressman Mr. Hill actually calling out Gary Gensler and the SEC for what they are currently doing. And this is, of course, in relation to, I think it was Debtbox that they've been fined over. And he also mentions the broader kind of treatment of the crypto space under Gensler's tyrannical regime. He has special interests. He has people that would have backed him to get into the SEC chair position that will ultimately have their own vested interests and likely want to stall this industry so that retail, people like me and you, don't get in regards to what is going to be a technological boom. I'm actually looking at the total too, which is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin. I believe that's going to $3.7 trillion, and we have a technical reason to expect that. Very interesting, very bullish. That means everything outside of Bitcoin will get to a higher market cap than what everything, including Bitcoin, got to in 2021. And we've already seen more volume in terms of ETPs today, this year. So we are 2 months and 22 days into it than we saw for the whole of 2021, which was the raging bull market. Great things are coming, guys. Let's dive into the next clip we have for you.
This is important because we haven't talked about this in a long time in this committee. And as a result of that gross abuse of power, the commission is required to pay the legal fees, which means that our constituent tax dollars are now being used to pay for the SEC's overreach and failure. So whether it's refusing to comply with the Administrative Procedures Act or not, or providing clear rules of the road for the digital asset ecosystem, it's clear that the SEC under Gary Gensler blatantly and repeatedly oversteps its statutory authority.
Very interesting. You know, the SEC, I think, is doing a terrible job at everything. Remember, BlackRock have launched a fund that they funded, and we showed you the wallet the other day, I think it was 2 days ago, with $100 million worth of USDC. They don't hold Shiba Inu and all these other tokens that people have. They're doing the same thing that they did to Vitalik. It's always interesting to see. You know, I wish I was big enough so that I could set up a wallet and let it public and everyone would send me a load of meme coins that I could just sell on and make money on. But BlackRock, you know, they are using and looking to actively use Ethereum. Ethereum is status. They want tried and tested. Ethereum's been around for the longest time. Interesting, I saw a clip of Vitalik Buterin talking about where he sees Ethereum in 2031 or whatever, and he sees everyone having a node on their phone, and it's very exciting. This technology and space is still at a very much an infancy phase, and you guys are lucky enough to be catching that. So we think that things are very much going to go in favor. People are very negative on the ETF. I'm not, and I'm not because of technical reasons. This is ETH BTC. You are going to get a major break here. You're compressing right here. This is going to pop. This is likely going to come on the back end of actual fundamental news that is technically signal. Remember, we're always early to things because we are technical analyzers. And this is ETH dominance. They're both pointing. When something walks and talks and quacks like a duck, it's a duck, ladies and gentlemen. And ultimately, get ready for what's coming. You know, Ethereum is going to get an ETF. It's going to bring broader scope for the broader market. We're looking at BTC DOM that we think is going to fall. We're looking at a number of things that we think support our narrative here technically, and we also think fundamentally it all fits into place, and the theory that we've got behind everything is there. So that's why I've kind of shown you what I've shown you. I've never seen the SEC get their behind handed to them as much as I've seen them get their behind handed to them as it relates to crypto. The SEC have an amazing win rate. You've got to think, when people go against the SEC, they're going against somebody with an unlimited resource, okay, of being a government entity. There's no limits for them in terms of, you know, whereas if you're somebody like Coinbase, you've got to fund all that yourself. If you're somebody like Ripple, you've got to fund all that yourself. You know, and they're losing. Now, I understand the skepticism around an ETH ETF, but hold on. Again, this is what I mean. The broader altcoin season really hasn't come to fruition. Let's talk about Bitcoin, then I'm going to play the last little clip that I've got for you. We know what's happening, okay? Bitcoin ran into all-time high. You should always expect it to act as resistance, but this is going to be short-lived, and it's very much doing the exact same thing that it did over here. You can see. You're getting wicks in a similar fashion. This will push through. Remember, we've got that broader target. Altcoin's actually doing beautifully, like perfectly exactly what we want them to do in terms of coming back and testing support. I mean, it's just great. You know, everything is great. And people just need to kind of understand the bigger trend that they're in, not get suckered into headlines and fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And that's hopefully what this channel is here to do. Let's play the last clip that we have for you, which is Jerome Powell talking about CBDCs when asked. And I think what he says about digital finance and their interest in it, which what they mean there is blockchain or distributed ledgers more broadly, because we've got DAGs and things like this that are really coming to the forefront, is interesting. And it kind of cements what our pattern of thinking in regards to this space and where it's at.
Researching or hiring personnel to study the implications of a CBDC, can you give us any clarity on what the Fed is doing right now on a digital dollar?
Sure. So I think we've been pretty transparent on this, but I'll try harder. So we are not getting ready to, we haven't proposed, we haven't come to a conclusion that we should propose or anything like that. That Congress consider legislation to authorize a digital dollar. And it would take legislation by Congress signed by the president to give us the ability to do what we think of as a CBDC, which is really a retail CBDC with with the public of it. So we're just a long, long way from that. What we are doing, and I think what every major central bank is doing, is we're trying to stay in the frontiers of what's going on in digital finance. And it has many, many different areas. You know, it has applications in wholesale finance, in the payment system. And so to serve the public, these issues have become very front burner in the last 5 or 6 years. We need to be knowledgeable about all that. So we actually do have people trying to understand things that are, but it's wrong to say that we're working on a CBDC and then we've secretly got a lab here where we've got one and we're just going to spring it on Congress at the right moment. We don't. I haven't at all in my own mind made a decision that I think this is something the U.S. should be doing. You know, I just think it's something we need to understand, and we do have people who are keeping up with that as part of the broader payments landscape. That's how I would characterize it.
So we don't want CBDCs. I have a lot of questions in regards to, I think there's a lot of things about this movement that fulfill a global agenda, okay? In yesterday's video, we actually spoke about what their version of equality is. It's people being equally poor, not equality bringing people up, bringing everybody down. Because if you go after equality, you'll end up with neither equality or liberty, because their version of equality is to take from one person to give it to another. Whereas if you respect everyone's sovereignty and liberty, okay, I'm a big fan. I've got many books behind me from people like Milton Friedman. I'm a big fan of your Austrian economists and some more nuanced Austrian economists. I wouldn't call Milton Friedman quite that, but I think he has a lot of those principles, like Ludwig von Mises, Friedrich Hayek. You need to put people's sovereignty first, because then you end up with the best possible equality that you can achieve in an unequal world. Life isn't fair. If people try and apply that to the world, it's just not natural, right? There's a natural rhythm to everything. So there's a lot of things about crypto that kind of fulfill a global agenda. You know, this idea of having a transparent ledger and a global one world system, you know. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. So we're against CBDCs massively. They are coming. I think they're going to come. It's inevitable. Whether Trump comes out and says he's not going to allow them or vows to not do them, that'll change because it's the agenda. And the interesting thing is, where does Bitcoin find itself in all this? Either Bitcoin is their plan, or they're going to do something to it. And Bitcoin is vulnerable in many different ways, ladies and gentlemen. And as we see institutions take it over little by little, they already own the largest pool of miners. There's a lot of things that could happen to Bitcoin that could mean people rush to the exit, which could be a prepared CBDC when they're ready to spring it onto people. I might do an entire video on that. I like doing walk and talks where I think we're going to daily, I've got a lot going on at the moment, do walk and talks where we talk about interesting things like that and engage with you guys on it and try and help each other understand really what's going on more broadly. But what he really said that interested me was his interest in digital finance. Now, what's he talking about here? He's talking about distribution in ledgers. He's talking about tokenization. Guys, you're in an asset class that hasn't even been allowed to become one, that is going to find itself in every facet of humanity. Today, actually, I'm planning on releasing an interview that I did with Kilt Protocol that are working on digital identities in a decentralized manner, that are combating the kind of cloud lords that essentially own all your data and all your credentials. This is just a great example of a broader application of a distributed ledger. So do watch out for that. Guys, that's all I've got for you in this video, guys and girls. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. I hope you enjoyed it. We will be back tomorrow morning with another update. And of course, this evening with some interesting videos. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one.